They say words can break you, but silence can destroy you slowly. Because at least words tell you something, even if they hurt. Silence tells you nothing. It leaves you alone with your thoughts, and that's where the real battle begins. You start to question everything. Did I do something wrong? Why did they change? Why won't they speak to me? The mind hates uncertainty. It needs answers. And when silence gives none, your imagination begins to create its own. That's why silence hurts more than words, because it doesn't just wound the heart, it plays with the mind. But what if silence isn't your enemy? What if it's your greatest teacher? What if the quiet moments you fear the most are the ones shaping the strongest version of you? The Stoics knew this truth. Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, Epictetus. They didn't run from silence. They trained in it. Because silence, when faced with discipline, becomes the birthplace of wisdom. So here are 7 Stoic lessons about silence and how to turn pain into power. Number 1, silence reveals who truly cares. When you go quiet, watch what happens. The people who truly value you will reach out. They'll notice your absence. They'll ask if you're okay. They'll care without being told to. But the ones who only liked your energy, they'll disappear the moment the noise stops. That's not loss, that's revelation. Silence removes the fake without confrontation. The Stoics believed in observing quietly instead of reacting loudly. When you stop chasing, you start seeing. You realize that not everyone deserves access to your voice or your peace. Those who remain during your silence, they are the ones who truly care. The rest were only addicted to the sound of your presence. 2, silence hurts because it forces you to face yourself. Silence is not empty, it's full of your thoughts. When the noise of the world fades, you're left alone with what's inside. Every regret, every memory, every what if begins to echo louder. That's why many fear silence, because it confronts them with truth. The Stoics didn't escape from their thoughts, they examined them. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." Your silence can heal you or haunt you. If you fill it with fear, it becomes a prison. If you fill it with reflection, it becomes a sanctuary. So when silence hurts, don't run. Listen. There's something inside you asking to be understood. 3, silence is a test of emotional strength. When someone gives you silence, don't chase them. Don't beg for answers. Their silence is testing your control. Most people fail this test because they react too quickly. They panic, they plead, they overthink. But Stoicism teaches mastery over reaction. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Can you stay calm when ignored? Can you remain centered when uncertain? Can you be at peace when you have no closure? If you can, then you've already won. True strength isn't found in shouting louder. It's found in staying silent longer than your emotions want you to. 4, silence is the language of the wise. The world is noisy, opinions, arguments, endless voices trying to be right. But wisdom speaks softly, and often not at all. The wise know that not everything deserves a reaction. Sometimes silence is the most powerful answer you can give. When they misunderstand you, stay calm. When they insult you, stay silent. When they try to drag you into drama, remain still. Because silence confuses those who feed on chaos. Epictetus once said, "Be silent, or let your words be worth more than silence." The powerful don't speak to prove, they speak to add value. Every time you choose silence over reaction, you grow stronger. You show that peace is your language, not pride. 5, silence helps you reconnect with yourself. You can't hear your intuition in chaos. You can't feel peace when the world is screaming for your attention. Silence is where you meet yourself again. Your real self, not the version shaped by opinions or pressure. The Stoics took time daily for solitude. They reflected, they wrote, they sat in stillness. Seneca said, "If you want to be loved, love yourself first. But to love yourself, you must first know yourself. And to know yourself, You must be still. Sit in silence. Turn off the noise. Listen to what your soul is saying. That isn't loneliness, that's alignment. That's how you rediscover who you are beneath everything the world has told you to be. 6. Silence builds discipline and power. Not every insult deserves a reaction. Not every invitation to chaos deserves a reply. When you master silence, you master restraint. You stop being a slave to your emotions and start becoming a master of your mind. You don't act from impulse anymore. You act from purpose. That's the quiet strength most people never find, because silence isn't weakness. It's discipline. It's knowing when to speak and when to let your calm do the talking. When someone tries to provoke you and you stay composed, that's not avoidance. That's power under control. That's emotional intelligence. That's self-mastery. The Stoics called it apatheia, the state of inner calm that no chaos can disturb. It doesn't mean you feel nothing. It means you choose what deserves your reaction. You no longer argue to prove a point. You no longer explain to be understood. You no longer fight to be right. You simply stay grounded in peace. And that kind of silence is unshakable. It says, I don't need to prove myself. My calm speaks for me. 7. Silence is where healing and growth begin. Words can reopen wounds, but silence allows them to close. When you stop explaining, stop chasing, stop forcing, you finally begin to heal. Healing doesn't happen in noise. It happens in stillness. In those moments when the world goes quiet and you're left alone with yourself, that's where truth lives. That's where understanding begins. That's where you start to rebuild from within. Sit with your pain. Let the silence wash over you until the storm inside starts to settle. You'll feel lighter, not because everything is fixed, but because you've stopped fighting what you can't control. Peace doesn't come from getting answers. It comes from letting go of the need for them. The Stoics believe that every silence carries wisdom, but only if you're strong enough to stay within it. Because silence isn't the absence of sound, it's the presence of understanding. It's where endings turn into beginnings, where pain transforms into clarity, where wounds become wisdom. The Stoic truth about silence. Silence hurts more than words because it exposes truth, tests patience, and demands strength. But if you face it like a Stoic, it becomes your greatest teacher. It reveals who's real. It shows you yourself. It tests your discipline. It connects you to your inner voice. It transforms chaos into calm. And it gives you the strength to rise above every storm. Don't fear silence. Embrace it. Let it shape you. Let it teach you who you are without noise. Because once you master silence, nothing can disturb your peace again. If you've ever been hurt by silence, remember this. You don't need anyone's words to find peace. You only need the strength to remain calm in the storm. Comment, I rise above the noise. Like this video if you're learning to find peace in silence. Share it with someone who's struggling quietly. And subscribe for more Stoic wisdom to strengthen your mind and elevate your spirit. Because sometimes, the loudest power is found in silence.